Hello, Chris.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you, man?
I'm doing pretty good. I actually just had my first live stream on
Awesome.
Substack at 1 o'clock my time a couple hours ago. So I'm all
Awesome.
primed and ready to go.
How was it?
It was good. And then, like 20 people come, and it was good to just get in that rhythm. I've done it on YouTube before, but I've never done it on Substack. So getting used to the tools on Substack was a little different. But
That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I could say, at least for me, it's very nerve wracking. I mean, I've only done,
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I've
I
only,
mean, I'm on calls at work. I'm a director at Microsoft. So like I have, sometimes 1,000 people on a call that I'm leading. So like, yeah, but it's different because you don't know who's listening, right? Like I'm more comfortable with this. I'd rather be talking to you, a real human.
that's cool. I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, so I've done a few of these lives before. Um, I'm just going to throw out a harmless, what's the word I'm looking for? Shout out. I'm in a part of a group called Kazora, and it's basically just a group of AI creators. Um, just to put it simply. And when I first joined them, that's when I did my first live with two people, Michael Simmons and Claudia Faith, who are co-founders. And I've also done one with Joel Salinas, who's also a co-founder of Kazora. And basically, after doing a few lives with other people, I said, I feel like this is a great way to grow here. Because at the end of the day, you know, I don't show my face in my profile picture or anything like that. And I've always been a very private person. So I said to myself, I'm gonna try and do this alone. And so I did a solo live a couple days ago, and then I had some viewers asking to join. And I said, you know what, that's a great idea. So maybe I'll try and do more of these solo lives and bring viewers in to actually have a live discussion. I think that's something at least I haven't seen anybody else doing yet. So yeah,
Yeah, I love that. I mean, that's why we're here, right? Is to build community and whether you're, a personal brand account, like, on X, like everyone would tell me like, oh, you shouldn't have your own profile, your own picture, and like whatever, Yeah, but I love it. I think this is a great idea just to have ad hoc, conversations with people and organic, see where it goes. Cause I think a lot of times if you try to script those conversations, I mean, when you think about like Joe Rogan, that's what he does. He doesn't script at all. He just says, "Hey, come in," and then they talk for 3 hours, and it's pretty cool to like hear some of those nuggets of wisdom where you're like, "Oh, that's pretty good," like and so
yeah, it's cool because it's natural. It's not forced. It's not robotic.
yeah,
Um, whereas not to say I have anything against it. I think it's cool. I mean, both ways. But like for example, the other day, and I like to call him a friend at this point. My friend Joel Salinas, he called me up and he said, "Hey, I need you last minute. Can you come and do a live with me about the AI bubble, quote unquote?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." So, somehow I guess there was some type of like telekinesis going on because that same day the article I put out was about the AI bubble.
Hmm.
And he messaged me later on. He said, "Do you want to?" So for things like that, like I will go and make myself a few notes prior to the discussion, just to like come somewhat prepared.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so you're not rambling for ever. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question.
Okay.
And you could feel free to ask me anything as well. So you said you're a director at Microsoft.
I am.
So what does that entail?
So I work in operations and enablement for our customer success team for everything AI, right? So I help take information from corporate and put it in the hands of people that are on the front lines helping our customers. And I've been in tech for 30 years. I've been at Microsoft for 6 years. I was at Amazon for 4 years prior to that. So for me, this is just the next wave. And like people are talking about this bubble, people used to talk about that about cloud, right? Like, oh, this is a bubble. Like, we're all going to keep on prem. And let's be honest, on prem's still alive and kicking. A lot of people have on prem, but cloud computing's been emerging for what 20 plus years, and I think AI probably will too. And so there's gonna be little bursts and bubbles and stuff, but I don't see a bubble. So yeah, I think AI is a great tool. Um, it just can't replace you as a human. Right, and so, like, you were talking, like, at first about, like, how you utilized AI to write some of your posts. I think what you probably do is you use it for ideation and formulation and editing, like a like a chief editor, like, say, like, "Don't write this. I'm not gonna give you a single sentence," and then be like, "Create an article about it," right? But to be able to utilize it to as a tool for research, use it to for formatting, use it for even like, I talk a lot to it. Like, so I'll just record my voice and just talk for half an hour and then say, okay, now structure this as a transcript. Boom, done. Great. Now you know my voice. Don't change any of these words. Use 99.9% of my own words. How would this fall into sections? Boom, done. Right. And then I can go into those sections and start kind of fiddling with it. And let's be honest, it does add some slop sometimes, but you just cut the slop. Like, even though you told it not to change your words, it tries to, but it's not as good as you.
Absolutely. So in terms of that, have you heard of Ruben Hassid?
I haven't.
So he's really maybe I'm pronouncing his name wrong. He's really big here on Substack,
Okay.
and
I'm only 3 months. I've
yeah,
only been on since October, late October, but
he's like one of the bigger AI creators here on Substack.
okay.
And and what I love about him is he's so transparent about it to the point where he says, if you want AI to write like you, this is what you got to do. And he's a big Claude guy, which
Mm.
I haven't experimented with it too much. I'm probably missing out, to be honest. I might be trying to stick to my brand too much just because I have ChatGPT in my name. Uh,
Yeah,
but like, to sum it up, like, one of the main points that he put in there is if you want AI to write like you have to still write. You still have to know how to write. So it's like you could give it a sample article that you wrote, all original, right?
yeah.
And then depending on which AI you're using, some might be better than others. It will be able to mimic you. And AI detectors are a whole another story. Who knows how accurate they really are? I remember
They're
seeing,
not act.
yeah, like it's, you
Yeah,
put in some
yeah.
text in the Bible and it says it's AI.
Yeah. So, my daughter actually she's a senior in college, and a professor, accused her of writing a paper with AI, and my daughter knows better because she knows that as a tech guy, I can figure out if she did use it only because I know her, right? But, like, a tool that can say, "This is AI," it's just looking for it's like code, right? It's just looking for things that are typical AI. But let's remember, AI was written by dumping a bunch of real writing into machine learning and it developing a consistent writing pattern. And so, but I do think it's important to kind of scrub some of your writing of that stuff now. It's sad because, like, I'm kind of a three bullet point guy. Like, I've been in tech for 30 years, but I've also been a pastor for 20 years. And so 3 point sermons are a thing. And so I'm like, like, I definitely will go this, and this, right? And people are like, this is AI. I'm like, no, it's just actually 3 points that
Yeah.
I thought of. So yeah, it's pretty, yeah.
Yes. Somebody just left a hilarious comment here, Mike. He said she should accuse the professor of using AI to detect AI and turn the table.
I love it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's hilarious, man.
That is, that is hilarious. I love it.
So I will say, like, for me, all my articles, I have proper references and citation too, because I feel like if you don't have that, then you really don't got nothing. I
Yep.
mean, especially like in my niche. I mean, nowadays I've been really focusing in on AI. I'll still sprinkle in some, like, science related stuff, physics, because that's my original background, but,
Mm,
mm, I think it's so important to have references to
yeah, it
just back.
is. Well, and
Yeah,
also, I mean, you should give props where props are due, right? Give honor where honor is due. And like, like I wrote an article, right, about Woodrow Wilson, right? And, so I did a bunch of research, right? Because I think personally, that's almost the best thing. Like, I will never use Google to search anything probably ever again, right? Unless it's Google Maps and I need something local, right? So I just go to, Grok or ChatGPT or sometimes Claude, but I don't really use Claude very often just to do research, right? But then I always use more than one if it's a deep, like if it, especially if it's like um, something that really matters getting it right, I'll check it with 2 different AIs, right, and then go to the source material and read about the source material, but it kinda can help you collect that information, and so just I agree, giving the citations and sources and it actually helps you because that's considered a backlink, to someone else's content, right? And Google likes if you're connecting the dots for them, right? And so your stuff might actually be elevated in the SEO because you're doing source linking.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think, like, it might come with, like, the territory of posting daily, because obviously it's like I have other things going on in my life, as everybody does. I have a day job, I have a 2-year-old, I got another baby on the way, and it's
Nice.
like,
Congratulations.
thank you. And it's so but, like, Substack is so important to me, just like the community that I'm a part of with Kazora and even just the larger community itself. Like, it's surreal because it's kind of like, there's a saying that you don't really know what you have until it's gone. And at the same time, you always kind of visualize maybe yourself growing to a certain point, and then you get to that point and it doesn't really, you don't feel it.
Hmm.
And you're like, holy crap, I've got, there's 100 people in here right now.
Yeah, 102. Exactly. You take it seriously, right? But
Like,
I
take
have
it.
a question. I have a
Yeah.
question for you. Like with that, like a lot of people say, don't post daily, right? And especially don't email daily. I'm like, who cares about? No, I mean, I care about notes, but like notes, 3 to 5 a day, whatever. But emails once a day. How long have you been on the platform? How long have you been doing that? And have you found like I feel like I get 5 unsubscribes every time I send an email. Like, like and so but I also think there's value because you're building the base of content. Can you just talk a little bit about your process there and your experience?
Yeah, so to start from the beginning, so I started in 2023, and then didn't like it, just to, I don't know, you know, put it plain and simple, I just didn't like it, and then I stopped, and then I came back in 2025, February, and said, "I'm just gonna go all in and do it every day." Like, I
Mm,
don't care. I missed 1 day in 2025 because I had, like, a family emergency. Other than that, every day. Um, I think also recently, and I've noticed this too, not just for me, but for other creators. This is a whole can of worms here.
yeah.
Basically, um, I don't know where to start with this, but I'll start here. Um, Substack has a bot issue, and I've in the past month or month and a half, I went and I don't like to obsess over numbers, but it was upsetting to see, but at the same time, it's expected, and I'll go into why it's expected. Past month and a half, I lost probably 2,000 subscribers. I went from 61,500 to like 59.5.
Wow.
Now the weird thing is, and I'll get into the point of why I think that's happening now. But the weird thing is, so one of the best decisions I made when I started the Substack was to create a new email for it, and thank God I did that because especially during the large growth part of my journey here, like there were months where I was getting 10,000 subscribers a month.
Wow. That's
And
crazy.
well, and I think all of that really comes down to, the algorithm pushing me because I'm posting daily, and I think that would happen almost on any platform.
Yeah.
Um, but clearly there's a bot issue, and now why do I think Substack now? And anybody could look this up. Um, Substack is using some type of AI tool to filter out bots. Um, and there's a bit of an issue with that because sometimes it may not be bots, it may be people that are inactive.
Right.
So there's that. And the reasoning for that is because Substack is planning on releasing some form of like an advertisement type of
Yeah.
deal where, like, similar to YouTube or other platforms, because Substack has been receiving a lot of, investments from private investors.
A lot.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe somebody can correct me about this. I think it was like Andreessen Horowitz, $100 million. I mean, they're expecting Substack, even though Substack was built on, a quote unquote community, built by the community for the community, and that's why they wanted this. That's why they wanted people to monetize this from their community alone. But now, and initially they said they would never do ads, but now they're going to have to shift away from that.
Yeah.
Apparently, they started some type of pilot program with certain large creators. I haven't been able to find any of them, so I don't know how they're going to roll out these ads, but it all ties in together because if you if you want advertisers to advertise on your platform, they want to make sure that it's going out to real people. So
Yep.
I think that's and another weird thing about this whole thing, going back to the email, um, I can't open that email up. There's 100,000 emails in there.
That's awesome. What a good problem to have, though.
Yeah, but so basically, the weird thing about it is even though I'm seeing my total subscribers down, I when I do look in that email occasionally, I still see 100 or 200 a day of
Mhm.
new subscriber emails.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're filtering them out before they even get there or whatever they're doing, but to me, I'm just gonna keep pushing. It doesn't really matter either way.
Yeah. I love that. I think that's a good strategy. And like again, numbers, who cares? Like, really people come and people go too. Like, I've had close friends that have been friends for 20 years, unsubscribing like, okay, but whatever, Hey, it's all good, right? And so yeah, but I like that approach. They do have a bot problem. X had a bot problem too. I grew my account last year from like 4,000 to almost 15,000. And, I was almost to 15,000. I lost 900, 900 followers like overnight because they were purging bots. Right. And that's kind of just, I think that's all platforms have it. And I agree. I actually wrote a while back a post about why you're not bullish enough on Substack. I love this platform by far. I think it's the best platform I've seen out there. I think the way they have it structured, I think you're right. They're bringing ads, um, and ads are going to bring a different, a different flavor sometimes. I think, but I also think it's more value, right? And so I hope they purge more bots, right? But again, I hope they refine that tool so that they're not just, some people are only going to get on the platform once every 3 6 months, right? And they quietly are reading your emails, but they'll never comment. And for me, because of where I'm at, is like, I write for leaders of all, like, if you're a mom or whatever, but primarily I write for senior leaders. They never respond, right? They're not gonna download the app and respond on, on Substack. They'll shoot me a private email and say, "Wow, I really needed that," right? "Thank you so much. Can we talk?" Right? But they're not gonna email you, right? And so it'll be interesting to see where they go. In that post that I wrote about, you're not bullish enough on Substack. The best place to look on where you're talking about is look at the jobs they're posting on LinkedIn, Substack. And just if you read through some of those jobs, they're obviously gearing up for franchise deals, you know, advertising, the brand dealings, right? So there's going to be a lot of that that's coming to Substack, and I think all that means to me is I'm early. I went from 400 subscribers because I imported my old list, so I went from 400 subscribers in October to a little bit over 1,000 in the last 3 months. I think we're early, right? And so I'm pretty pumped, right? Because I think it's good to be able to have a platform that's not like X and it's not all about the drama. It's actually substantial.
Yeah, yeah. I think, like, to come back to also, like, whether it's posting daily articles or notes, I think that the notes are getting a little flooded. Like, that's the way it feels like to me right now, and it's getting I'm not on any other social media, um, and only thing I've been considering recently is ever since I started doing these lives, is to maybe just start importing them to YouTube and just put that on auto. So
Yep.
every time I do a live, just toss it on YouTube and maybe something will come of that as well. But I think like so I haven't been on Twitter in a long time or X or whatever.
I don't recommend it.
It,
I know some pretty huge creators on X that are just like it's just garbage mode.
yeah, it feels like notes to me feels like X. That's part of what it feels like to me. So for what I do is I do a daily post and a daily note,
Hmm,
and the note is related to the article.
hmm.
That's the model that I've been following lately. Um, I think also back to ads, I am wondering how they're going to roll it out and what it's going to look like. But one thing that I can't promise, but it feels like I can promise is that paid subscribers won't feel it. I hope. I really hope.
Yep.
Otherwise, what's the point? Um, and it'll probably just be some type of link or some type. I honestly don't know what it's going to look like, but it'll probably be less invasive than YouTube, for example, where if you don't sign up for YouTube Premium, you're now forced to watch this ad, and maybe you'll be able to skip it. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if it'll be like footers in an email or like if it'll be like mostly right. Because I think of Substack as two different ecosystems. I think notes are 90% creators, and then emails are 80% or 70% readers. And there's obviously crossover, right? Because there are readers that come on the app and spend a lot of time in notes. But primarily, everything I see in notes, I click on it, and 90% of those people have their own Substack and they're creating on an ongoing basis, right? And so I think of those as kind of two different communities. And so I'm trying to create two different strategies where, because I don't want to become a how to grow on Substack account, right? I could, and I'd sure my account would blow up but that's not what I want. That's not what I want to do. So I'm trying to walk that balance of like, not doing that, but also knowing your audience and nodes is probably mostly other creators. And so trying to keep um the strategy right for them. You're right, it's kind of like 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 X, but and it is getting a little flooded. But what I do like about it is at least most of it's real content. Some of it feels kind of like, and I'm probably, do this too, where it seems like a promotional poster or like a quote poster or something sometimes. And so yeah, it's kind of interesting thinking about at least it's evergreen, right? Like I posted something, of course, it was about Substack and how I love it. And like 2 months later, it blew up and I got like 300 subscribers off of that one note. Right. And so, um, yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go with notes.
Yeah,
Hopefully, it doesn't turn into I mean, what I don't get, I don't know if you see it, I don't see any of the vitriol like I'd see on X about politics. I mean, I see some politics stuff, but, like, just polarizing everything, which
yeah.
a lot of that on X, which I'm glad.
I wouldn't know because 'cause I'm not on X.
Yeah.
So that's
Believe
probably
a lot of that on X.
yeah, it's probably for the better. Um, but, um but yeah, basically, that's my model. It's a post
Okay.
and it's note. Sometimes there might be an extra note, and that's just me posting a clip from one of the lives, which I think is a really cool feature that Substack does. Or when you finish your live, they give you all these clips with the subtitles, and it looks really nice. So, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I mean,
Can I ask you a ChatGPT question?
yeah, anything. Yeah.
So, because I know the title is like, ChatGPT, like, how do you structure your ChatGPT chats? Like, do you think of each one of those as separate? Have you ever then downloaded your entire ChatGPT into a file and re-uploaded it into a separate ChatGPT? Have you done that with your Substack, right? To train it of like, you know, again, I wanted to get closer and closer to like when it's editing like an editor, I wanted to not be a writer, right? I wanted to be, and I know that's good prompt engineering, but do you have any tips or tricks on how you kind of constrain it a bit?
Yeah. Um, so I'll go from, like, the most basic thing, which I think a lot of people miss, which is really just turning the memory on. Like,
Mm,
people don't go into the settings and turn memory on.
mm.
Just, like, baseline something that everybody should do. If because I mean, I mean, some people don't want AI to get to know them. I want AI to get to know me because I can't come up with ideas every day. There's
Yeah.
some days that I do, but there's some days that I don't, and so the days that I don't, it's important that it knows what I like.
Mhm.
Um, so basically in terms of, like, separate chats as well, I think once you have memory turned on and you use it enough, it will apply its memory to any chat. So whether you open up a new one or you're using an old one. But for me, I tend to stick to the same chat depending on what I'm doing.
Mm.
Uh, so, like, for example, I haven't made one of these posts in a while, but sometimes when I'm really like, I don't know what to do, I will literally post my conversation with it and then just write an introduction and a conclusion and then slap the conversation in the middle. So like that, my chat that I have for conversations is a separate chat than I have for here's what over the course of the day, here's my bullet points, here's my paragraphs that I wrote in my phone, airdrop it into my computer, plug it into that chat because that chat is for this chat is for that. The only portion of, I mean, it's not really ChatGPT at this point anymore, but I use Dolly for my image generation.
Oh, okay.
And like, that's the only thing that I've found that is lacking slightly, not really, because it still knows my theme and what I kind of look for in my images. But that one's pretty like cookie cutter. Like when I need images, I usually, everything's structured pretty similarly. Like I'll have an article title, which I think is like one of the most important things and one of the best ways that you can use AI is like just give me titles. Like I want,
Yeah.
give me 10. I don't like them. Give me
Yeah.
another. Do
Yeah.
this, sharpen this, shorten it up, whatever. And then, so almost always the first image in my article is me going to Dolly and saying, give me an image for an article titled this.
Mm.
Um, and then for the images later on in the article, I'll take a section from that article and post that whole section into Dolly.
Mhm.
And then it'll give me a really cool image because now
Yeah.
there's detail to it, probably more so than I could have thought of myself.
Right.
Um,
Excellent.
yeah. So I just see a quick question here. Suzanne or Susan, who are the two speakers today? So, my name is Leor. I am exploring ChatGPT. And if you want to introduce yourself as well,
Yeah, and I'm Chris Antonelli. I'm the writer and founder of Leader Unlock.
yeah, make sure to subscribe to Chris. I'm going to do the same as soon as we finish up here. Basically, what we did today, which I'm going to be trying to do more of, is I'm going to start the live on my own, and then I'm going to bring viewers in to talk and just try and keep it natural, kind of like Chris said, like Joe Rogan esque. Hopefully,
Yeah.
I don't think I'm quite at this level yet, but maybe, maybe we'll get there.
Make sure you save these early sessions, man.
Oh yeah,
The early days, you know.
yeah, yeah. So I think again, like, I think one really good point that you brought up is about people being scared of maybe like consistently doing something every day and what can come of it. And maybe, like you said, maybe feeling like you're losing subscribers because people get all these emails. And nowadays, you can open up your phone, open up your mail application, and you can just press unsubscribe at the top of it and it's gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm really worried about that too much. I mean, I'm proud of myself of where I've gotten to at this point doing what I do. Uh,
Yeah, your account's legit. I hadn't seen your account before. I saw you were live, and before I join a live, I always go stalk the creator, right? Because some lives you're like, no, I'm not joining that live, you know. But yeah, your account, I love your account. I subscribed immediately, before I even got on live, and so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing uh, your account continue to grow. People need to know how to utilize AI. And one of the things for me is if you don't learn how to utilize it and you don't even learn how to um, improve it, not only for yourself, but for others, people that have very different opinions than you are going to be the only ones utilizing it and making it into what it will become in the future. And so I'm pretty much like everybody should be uh, learning how to utilize it and making it better because it's constantly learning. Like, and then with titles, you're saying I love it for titles. What I do is I have particular creators I really love, and I go to their account, I zoom out on my computer, and I take a screenshot of their their last 30 posts, and I dump that picture into ChatGPT and say, okay, this post I just wrote, I want titles and subtitles that are similar to these without you taking any of these exact titles. Next line. Also, at the end of that, I want you to give me SEO um, keywords. I also want you to give me long form keywords that people would search for these types of topics on YouTube. And then I go into the SEO settings and I plug all of that in so that when I post it and it gets consumed by Google or by Bing, that it helps index it so people have a more in the future will have more opportunity to find my content more organically off platform.
Smart, really smart. I'm going to just read off a couple comments here. Um, and also, Chris, I don't know how much time you have left, but I wasn't planning on going this long, but since it's going good, um, again, excuse me for my English. English is my second language, believe it or not. But anyways, uh, just a couple in the chat here. PJ says, thanks both for the chat. Stalking is the new way of validation. Okay.
Totally.
Some comedians in here. Before I'll read the next one as well from Will Ty. Um, I want to say again, I am willing to invite in one more guest and we will have a three-way discussion for the next maybe 10 minutes before we sign off here. So if anybody else here in this live with us wants to join, to join the conversation, get in front of an audience. Don't feel any pressure. We're just hanging out. Just type in the chat and say, "Hey, I want to join," and I will invite you. Um, okay. And Will Ty said, "Lior, you mentioned the name of a guy on Substack that you said was the best at something regarding AI. I believe his name was Nathaniel, if I'm not mistaken." Um, okay, I see Susan wants to join. I will invite you, Susan. Will, in terms of that, his name is Ruben Hasid, and he is awesome. Like he's just I was talking about him earlier in terms of transparency and how he's like, "Hey, if you want to use AI to write for you, this is how you do it." So, at least he's transparent about it. All right, I will send an invite to Susan here, and we'll do another 5-10 minutes, and then we will sign off.
And what's Ruben's last name?
Hasid, I believe it's Hassid. I could be wrong, but he's huge. He has like over 200,000 subs, and he's amazing. I'd recommend him to anybody. All right, Susan, I just sent you the invite. Will, it's Ruben Hasid. I mean, Ruben, uh, I don't know if it's Reuben or but Ruben Hasid. No problem, though. All right, Susan, you should have gotten the invite if you want to join. And then, yeah, after Susan joins, we'll talk for another 5-10 minutes and we'll wrap it up if she wants to join. Susan, you should have gotten the invite.
I love this, man. This is a great idea. I hope you keep doing this. This is it's legit, right? I mean, and it's organic. You can't duplicate it, right? And it's real. That's why I like Substack too, is it feels I don't know, it feels real. Like I built relationships with some of my subscribers you know, are I've only been connected with them for 2 or 3 months, and they're already deeper relationships than I have had with people that I've met on X for a year ago, because there's more connectivity and you're reading their content, they're reading your content, they're in your DMs, pretty cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. Um, yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Susan said, "How do you send it?" I just go to invite. I'm not like too super technical with this stuff. Sorry. I just like to do the same way I invited Chris. Chris, how did you join when I invited you?
So it just and maybe you need to invite her again, but if you're in the app, it'll pop up and say you've been invited, and I think I just said join.
Oh, like in your notifications, right?
Like, no, actually a little bar at the bottom of Substack, like a big bar opened and said join.
Okay. All right, Susan, try that. Let's see if that works. Ralph Carabetta, there are now what seems like dozens of AI apps. Do you think there will be an attrition and consolidation? Um, Maybe. I mean, I think at the end of the day, you just use what's best for you, what you're most comfortable with, and explore and probably don't do what I do. Like, don't just be hard headed and only use ChatGPT.
Use
Like
two. That's my suggestion. Use two. You know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I could at least say I use Dolly, but for whatever that means.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm just an open AI guy.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. I mean, Susan says, okay, you know what? I'll try to invite you one more time. We'll see if it works. Here you go. Send invite. Let's see. I sent it again, Susan, if you want to try again. Um, in the meantime, while we wait, I just want to say thank you very much, everybody, for being here. I really appreciate it. This is really cool. And yeah, definitely also subscribe to Chris. Chris, if you want to just shout out your newsletter one more time, that way people can find you.
Yeah. So it's my name is Chris Antonelli, and the newsletter is Leader Unlock.
Awesome. I will
And it's
definitely be subscribing.
Yeah, and it's basically for, content for, so again, I think I talked about this a little bit, but been in tech 30 years, but I've also been a pastor for 20 years, and I've kept those separate, right? Because people at church don't give a rip about tech stuff, and tech people don't really care to hear much about, things like from church. And so this is a little bit, what I call it is a faith informed leadership newsletter, which is like, I don't need people to believe what I believe, but I dig a lot into ancient wisdom and try to bring it into today and help people who are carrying a lot in, like you have a, you're probably have a job, you have this, you have a family, right? You have another kid on the way, right? And people just need things that help them navigate life, right? And so that's what Leader Unlocked is trying to do.
That's awesome. Awesome. Subscribe to Chris. Um, Susan, I'm sorry, I don't know. It says
Yeah.
you said don't see the invite. Can you email? I don't think I can email it.
No.
Um, so yeah, I will. I'll mention again and again. Sorry, Susan. Maybe next time, unless you can figure it out. But um, I do want to wrap up eventually. But I will just say one more time. If anybody else wants to join, I will invite one more person in here for a three-way chat for the next 5-10 minutes, and then we'll call it a night. Or whatever time of day it is, anywhere that you are in the world right now. um,
Really about Ralph's question, I personally think within the next 16 months, you're going to see a lot of consolidation with AI tech. Um, Lots of mergers and acquisitions. And when people say bubble, for me, that's the true sign of a bubble is when mergers and acquisitions start happening, right? And tools like early days of cloud, all these companies started to pop up. Guess what happened to all those companies? They got bought by Google, Amazon, Microsoft, right? Um, Snowflake, all these companies just started acquiring company and working because what they're doing is building out their ecosystem so tools aren't so single threaded. Like, and so the current use of ChatGPT, I think, is just in its baby stages. And we're going to see it just evolve into more of a suite of tools rather than just a single tool. And I think we're already seeing that, but like, I'd like to see Dolly be so integrated with um, ChatGPT or Figma, so integrated with ChatGPT or Canva, right? PowerPoint. I'd like to see that, be able to go in and do something and be like, great, now create this in Canva. Great, now throw that into PowerPoint. And you can
yeah,
already do that, but that's kind of more advanced techie stuff than most people can't do that.
yeah, yeah. I will say too, in terms of the point of that you were talking about the AI bubble. Um, I'm not like a big markets guy or economy guy. For my personal investing, I just do S&P 500 and just go with that forever. Um, but I think it's the difference that I see at least is, and again, in the dot-com bubble, I was 6 years old. So,
Yeah.
I can't say too much about that,
So
but
was I.
yeah. But
No.
looking back now, I think, and I kind of understand, like, company valuations and PE ratios and all that fun stuff, just on
Yeah.
a very baseline level. But I think AI, the widespread usage, integration, and it's ahead of the curve. Like, I don't, even if the market drops, I don't really care. I mean, it'll a minor setback for a major comeback is the way I see it. Because it's like in the dot-com bubble, from what I know, a lot of these company valuations were just not living in reality. They were just, the narrative was so far ahead of what the actual utility was at that point in time. And right now, it seems like the opposite.
Yeah.
Seems like the utility is there and just exponentially increasing, and yeah, maybe some of these companies are slightly overvalued. I mean, I think last I looked, I think Nvidia is like sitting at, I don't know, 40 something PE ratio. Okay. So, Nvidia drops, 20-30% tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you're not holding single stocks, I mean, it shouldn't really affect you too much.
Yeah.
Um,
Not financial advice.
Definitely not, but I can tell you what I do myself, and that's just, you know, Roth IRA, got a 529 account for the kid, and
Right.
that's about it.
Yeah. Well, and remember, like, I think people think mistakenly that AI is like the metaverse. The metaverse was marketing. And they do that to see if the market's ready. And metaverse proved the world's not ready to live in a virtual world more, right? And so that went away, i.e., AI rather is become a utility. And I will say at Microsoft, again, I've been 30 years in tech. I use it every day, all day long. I can have like next week, next 2 weeks, I have 27 meetings that are the same meeting that are 1 hour long, right? And instead of having to go through and do notes and actions from each one of those meetings, right? I have already an agent set up to be able to just transcribe them, put them together, give notes and actions for each meeting with named people in a task tracker, right? And then say, okay, now across these 27 meetings, analyze the themes by region, right? And now take those themes by region and look at any emerging things across the globe, right? I mean, that would have been weeks of work for probably multiple of people, but now we're using it as a tool. And people say, well, what about the jobs? Well, there used to be candle makers, right? There used to be carriage drivers. There used to be lots of things. And we always find other things to do, right? But my advice to people is become equipped with the tool of AI because it's going to unlock your career. Like if you can just learn it every a little bit every day, you're going to be way ahead of the curve as it becomes more in everything, every car, every appliance, every, everything.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I
And
think that all
subscribe to
I
so
think
exploring ChatGPT. If you have, you gave me a shout out. Obviously, mostly your subscribers, but if you're in here and you haven't subscribed, what I always kind of challenge people on is like, go ahead and follow me, but subscriptions are free. Like go ahead and subscribe so
right,
that we can have a closer connection with one another.
absolutely. And just I wanna just make a brief, comment about that point that you made. I think people aren't, imaginative enough to realize that the job creation on the other side is gonna be massive, and we can't understand it yet. The same way that we couldn't understand the, the job creation that happened through the internet. And this should technically be much larger at scale. Alright, I'll just read a couple, comments here, and then we'll just wrap it up. Um, see, Will Ty, many people are raving about the new Claude Moldbot AI model. I've heard of it. It has changed names 3 times this week. I think it's a Chinese model. Worried about security. Say you can run it on Mac Mini, so I expect to see an increase in Mac Mini sales, etc. So, I haven't looked too deeply into Claudebot. I've maybe watched part of a YouTube video about it and then fell asleep. So basically, yeah, from what I heard, it's like your little automated assistant. I think security issues in general with AI, that's an individual thing that depend. How private do you really want to be as an individual, and then you can take it from there. Um, just to put it briefly. Um, yeah, and Susan wants to talk. I'll just shout this out for you, Susan, and then we're gonna have to wrap up here. Susan Felt in the chat has a book called Family Adventures from A to Z using ChatGPT. Over 90 ways to learn prompts, and it's on Substack. So if you guys see Susan in the chat, give her some love. And I just want to say again, thank you all for being here. Chris, thank you for joining. I really appreciate you joining. And if you don't mind, I might post a clip or two of this and I'll tag you in the clip.
Yeah, of course.
Um, and that's about it. Any last remarks, Chris?
It just thanks for I mean, I didn't expect this in my day. I think it's really an awesome thing you're doing. I wanna encourage you to keep doing it. Even if, it doesn't, feel like, I mean, we have 148. What I did hear is that number is the total people that have come into the live stream throughout the stream. So it's not like we have 148 people right now, but, I think that is a big reach when you send those out to your subscribers. So, yeah, keep doing it. People are gonna love it. Um, I did my first one, and I think, people are gonna love hearing directly from you. And you should totally change your PFP to your picture.
I'll think about I'll think about it.
No,
Uh,
I'm
no,
just joking. I'm just
I
joking.
will. I just want to ask about that real quick. How did you find out about that in terms of the actual total live viewers? Because the last time I did a live with my friend Joel, and I went in to go look at the stats afterwards, I remember seeing something along the lines of it's saying something about concurrent viewers. And it was
Hmm,
pretty close to the actual number that we saw there. It was also around 100 concurrent viewers. And when I looked into the stats, I remember seeing there was kind of like two different stats. One of them was something about it wasn't labeled concurrent viewers, but it was something like that. And then there was another one that said, there's obviously other ones with like total watch time, and then
yeah,
there was another one that showed like a graph of saying people that clicked on the video afterwards. Like when you post, if you post the full live video or if you post a clip, it'll tell you like this is the graph of and then you see like a bunch of people watch the video for 30 seconds, and it just goes like this.
yeah.
So
I will
yeah,
say it's hearsay. I think I heard it on a live stream. I think her name's Claudia. Um, yeah, but that's where I had heard that, but I haven't seen any of the stats. But
okay,
regardless, we'll learn more. Like I think they're going to improve the tool. What I hope they improve the most is the analytics, right? Because being able to understand, like, I've heard open rates aren't really accurate, whatever, right? But I hope the analytics, because again, it's about connecting with people. So, like, whether it's 149 concurrent right now, or, total, regardless, I feel like people are going to love this content. I have heard after the streams are almost more popular than during the streams, but that probably has to do with a global audience, wouldn't you think?
definitely possible. But
So,
I guess we'll find out.
yeah.
But anyways, we'll wrap it up here. Again, thank you, Chris. Um, again, I will
I
tag you.
and I'm sorry, what's your first name again? You introduced yourself, but
My first name is Lior.
Leor. Okay. I suck at names, so like there's people I I might ask you again, but
Oh,
I don't want to call you, hey exploring, what's up? Leo. Okay.
it's all good. All right. Anyways, I will be posting a clip or two, and I will tag you in it as well. And again, thank you for joining, and thank you everybody for being here. And have a good evening, breakfast, whatever it may be, wherever you are.
Yeah.
I know. Thank you.